Well, we got another clear day today. It's supposed to start raining this afternoon, so that should be good, but this morning we're up on a big vantage point. You can see down both sides of this canyon, or both sides of this ridge, I should say. There's a separate canyon on each side, and we're just going to glass into these big giant clear cuts. There's not very many spots we could shoot from here, but if we were able to see a buck, we could make a move on it. So that's the plan for this morning. Just glass for a little while and then move to some more area, glass some more, move to some more area, glass some more, and just see if we can pick something out. I'm gonna get to work. So one little tip on glassing that people ask all the time, how we're able to spot so many animals. This is just something that I was taught a long time ago that's really worked for me, and something that I try to relay to people when they ask. Everyone's got their own tactics, their own theories, their own ways of doing things, but what works for us is when I'm glassing an area, my first move is to check escape routes. So I look for big ravines, where the tall trees or the thick trees meet the open, anywhere where an animal can be escaping right away. I'll glance over those real quick, and then usually I'll take my binoculars and I'll do a quick scan of the whole hillside, everything that I want to glass, and just do a quick scan. Just looking for anything obvious, anything out in the open, anything bedded in the sun, if you're in an area where that's the case. And then usually I get the spotting scope out, or keep using my binoculars, but start picking apart spots. Look for areas that look like they would hold deer, and then don't be afraid to look in the areas that don't look like they would hold any deer also. And then I think the biggest thing for me is that everybody wants to look for a deer, and I shouldn't say everybody, but for me, I can't just look for a deer. I have to look for things out of the normal. A flat back, the shape of ears, a tan color in a green and brown hillside. You have to look for parts of a deer, especially where we're from here. You're hardly ever going to see a deer with its body fully exposed. And sometimes you do, but it doesn't happen real often. So just, for example, just a minute ago I spotted a deer, and it was right out in the open. A really easy spot. But it took me about 5 minutes of looking at her to realize that there was one bedded right next to her as well. So had I not seen that first deer, I'm not sure that I would have seen the second one laying down next to it. But it's just about picking apart a hillside, looking for things that are out of the normal. Like I said, a flat back, ears, an ear twitching. My dad's famous for that, says you can see their ears twitch. I don't know, but just looking for things like that are out of the ordinary. So that's a little tip for you guys. I need to put those to work. I've only found 2 deer. Now here's a good example of what I was just talking about. This hillside right here, when I first glassed it with my binoculars, I didn't see a single deer. And normally sometimes if we're in a hurry, I would just move on and go to a different area. But since we decided we were going to sit here today and we were going to glass and try to pick deer out for a little while, I've gotten the spotting scope out, and I've now seen 5 does on that hillside that I scanned the first time. I didn't see anything. So being patient and sitting down and really picking apart a hillside that has to hold deer. I mean, this hillside that I'm looking at right here, I don't know if you can see it. It's what I would consider prime blacktail habitat as far as a clear cut goes. Just enough amount of trees for them to hide, but enough to let enough light in and allow the feed to grow so they can feed and have cover. And a lot of times these blacktails actually won't go into the big dark timber during the day. They just bed down in that thick reprod like that, and you never see them unless you really start picking it apart. So a lot of people will drive by these spots and not even think twice about really sitting down and looking. But those deer are in there. You just have to glass and pretend, and I should say pretend, you should know there are deer in there. You just have to find them. So I've still only worked a quarter of this clear cut with my spotting scope. I'm going to keep working my way up the clear cut, gridding it left to right, up and down. That's how I like to do it. But yeah, I've seen 5 deer now, so I'm going to keep after it, see if we can find a buck.